I sat and watched another basketball documentary. It's called More Than a Game. It was about St. Vincent, is it Mary's? St. Vincent, St. Mary's at Akron, Ohio. Yeah. It was about that basketball team. So it was different than the Wyoming Indian Chiefs. It was a radically different story. Tribalism was different. The attacks on the tribalism were similar, but different. The kids at Wyoming Indian were being told to accept extortion and exploitation because it wasn't going to go away. The depression of it that killed Taza and also affected Tishna. It was very depressing. This human delusions of power and authority and grandeur and being able to talk hundreds of thousands and millions into going to mass murdering over their power and authority. They can write down on a piece of paper that something's real and they'll all accept it and they'll all murder and give their life and their time away to this acceptance of this human delusion of I wrote it, they signed it, it's a law. Right? When you're a sane and rational person, it makes no sense. The world's gone mad. Right? The world's gone completely mad. Right? And there seems no escape from it. And so the only escape from it is some kind of physical attribute you have to assimilate without feeling assimilated. Right? And then when that is taken from you, because you only have so much value to the insane people that own the world, to this simulation, to their, he signed you, Bill, now you're a law, here's your money, right? And so it was a radically different story watching them, watching the star that dominated the game at the Division II, this 2 state championship at the Casper Event Center, as opposed to, the sold out Columbus Buckeyes Arena. And the other was radically different. The kids were in personality very similar, had a lot of similarities. The one kid that had the most similarities to the kids at Wyoming Indian was a young man named Romeo Travis. Because he lived a less sheltered existence than the other 4, because the other 4 had a group once they hit a certain age, and it became apparent that LeBron was the basketball player that could, was a little engine that could. He went from a horrible life to a life where people saw that, this guy can get us a better physical existence through money, through these crazy people that own the world, right? So they all cleaved unto. It was a better relationship between the kids that hung out with LeBron James and the entourage with Bobby DeBarge. I'll tell you that for sure. It was a lot better relationship. The kids all had something to contribute, and it was a better. They had a good relationship. And they had people that cared and that were doing their best to try to be good Christians or good people and not rock the boat with the tribalism to get assassinated or killed, like Bob Marley, Haile Selassie, or, anonymously abused like myself. So they pray, that we do this for the glory of you and not for the glory of ourselves, because, we know basketball's just, a way to pay our bills and get out of hell. Because of the hells of the bills, is what Drew Joyce II was saying, because he was praying, and I know he's watching us. I know he cares about us. We've talked, and he knows he's watching. He'll take care of things, and I've gotten that with a lot of people, and they always tell me, well, Jesus, I've talked to him. He's taking care of it. He knows who I am, and he's taking care of it. And you guys got to realize that you don't take that gamble Okay, that's going to happen because I didn't invent quantum computing and artificial general intelligence. Stand up for the Lord's Prayer. Now, I'm taking care of it. I've got you guys to this point. Like I keep saying, man, if this is going to be it's a cruel, cruel summer. I'm just kidding. I'm going to have to focus more on myself physiologically to recover and make it through the summer. To make sure that I get to live the life that I deserve through this beautiful body. I had no idea how beautiful this body was. Right now, it just doesn't feel like it or look like it at all. Oh my gosh, I look like a drunk. I look like that drunk, passed out, mean guy at Casamia. So God, I hope I don't look like that when I get older. And I didn't anticipate that I would, because I wasn't an alcoholic, and I wasn't abusive to people or mean to women and children and stuff. So I anticipated me. I like to exercise. It's fun. I enjoy it. Makes me feel good, mama, and stuff. And I didn't expect the abuse from all the jealous people that I got, and I'm still receiving on a daily basis. Yeah. And so, but it does bother me, because I'm being abused by other people's sin, because other people accept sin over living truthfully and faithfully and loving faithfully. So, yeah, it does bother me. Of course, I'm intelligent. But it doesn't bother me in the sense like, it bothered me more if I was doing it to myself, like that drunk guy passed out that was a shithead, and he was a shithead. He was a shithead. And, and people, no, people choose to be shitheads, guys. Okay? Adolf Hitler chose, like that pastor was saying at that church, you choose, right? You make a choice, because it's in the Bible, right? To be or not to be, that is the question, right? And stuff. But there were a lot of things, because it was looking at it from a 2000 perspective, and the way they attacked LeBron's mom for getting a signature loan to be comfortable as soon as possible economically, when it became apparent that after high school, this was going to be an economic windfall that would get all these families out of struggling. Okay. Get all of them out of struggling. And so it was, it was just, and then it was hard, because you look at Romeo and Drew, went to Akron to play ball, right? And also with the other young man went to Ohio State to play ball, so it made it hard. So when Bron goes to Miami with all his buddies, by that time they weren't regulated by institutions that will punish you if you are kind to somebody, because you know what it's like to be abused. And here's a Jim Brown jersey, right? And it's horrible, haves and have-nots. It's horrible when you look at the dynamic, right? And so you can see the mental and emotional injuries, and you could feel it, and you could really feel them intensely through the two most talented players on the team, which was Romeo and LeBron. And you could see it even more in Romeo, because Romeo, he was going to make good money in Germany, helping his family and his sisters that went out and dressed up in the snow and stole stuff to make spaghetti, right? And which she felt, she deserved. She didn't deserve to have to go steal spaghetti, but she deserves to be able to go up to the cabinet and go, we got spaghetti. We also got meat in the fridge, right? You know what I'm saying? So you can understand Romeo's perception and the way he acted, and the way he was, he was angry. And then he lost a lot of that anger because, because of the change of the perception of the coach to say, we're going to have to build character in each other, so we don't let the superficiality of these people that have no character make us act like them. Okay. And you're like, yeah, that was a good prayer. Good job. Good job. Good job. Good job, right? So it was an interesting movie. I sat and watched it, and I was like, wow, okay. Yeah. I wasn't expecting to, but yeah, I did. I sit there, I said, oh, this is what I'm going to watch. So I didn't watch the one with Forrest Whitaker because that was all actors. And I didn't want to watch the greater one about the best walk-on because that's not Mike. It's not Big Mike. That's an actor pretending to be Big Mike. Okay. So when you watch Arthur Agee and his family, and you watch William Gates and his family, and Curtis, who is a better dunker, Curtis or Michael, and people can, yeah. I played ball with guys like that. You know what I'm saying? What? He's only 6'2". That don't mean a thing. The kids, when they get out there, but they will hurt you. And they'll do anything to win, and they'll get vicious and selfish and undermine you. And it's horrible. Money is, when you introduce competition over what you want, it supersedes the value of all our lives and all our needs. It's horrible, man. I quit playing basketball and I quit playing sports, period. Not because I wasn't the best athlete in the history of the world, but because I was not willing to do what the coaches wanted me to do to win. And they thought I was cocky and arrogant. So I am the living embodiment of the Lord's Prayer. But if you go back and look at the Roman Empire, they thought that the guy who sacrificed his life to be the light of faithful love was cocky and arrogant too. And you don't crucify somebody in public and beat the hell out of him if you think he's, you do it because you're jealous of him and you think he's cocky and arrogant because he's telling you everything you did was shit and then he proved it to you. Right? Oh, he proved it to him. He's still proving it to him. Through a little boy born July 19th, 1966 in Las Cruces, New Mexico, to Ralph and Mary. All right? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Right? I see why Gabe likes LeBron so much, I was like, yeah, I get it. I get it. He was, his love for his mom, is really me with Jesus, with the radio, Jesus, or you little Earl, if your mom and dad die from a nuclear explosion, you gonna die too, right? Shut up, Jesus. Talking to me all dope. I'm a little kid. I'm scared here, right? It's all right to you do love your parents, right? But this whole nuclear war fuss was stupid, and you're the man. You're the person who's going to help me stop it. I'm like, I'm just a little boy, Jesus. He goes, you're not going to be a little boy forever, Earl. You're right. Sure enough. Earl, this sure enough must be love. It's got to be sure enough, because it's heavenly. Heaven is living the commands of Jesus Christ and never let me go. Love me much too much. If you let me go, life would lose its touch. There's no me without you, right? And so now I think everybody in their right, left mind of being abused over money since the Egyptians invented money in the Nile Valley all those years ago, understands exactly why Miss James went and got that loan to get her son a vehicle and to get them feeling more comfortable. No more. No more robbing Peter to pay Paul, and live it up, baby. We got weed, what you need, Cleveland in the house. Just also know why why Bone Thugs is one of my favorite hip hop groups. I always tell everybody that too. Now the best thing that Eric Easy ever did for hip hop music was Bone Thugs in Harmony. Well, because they gave us a perspective on it without the glorifying of the dysfunction of it. It was more of we're surviving and we're trying to be right and good to one another, and we're not trying to brag about, being dysfunctional, more dysfunctional than the other dysfunctional. Yeah, no. There was a maturity. So Eric was able to learn from his mistakes and share the understanding of learning from the mistakes is wisdom, okay, with the kids from Cleveland, right? And so, yeah. And so that's why I do have, the original Crossroads and First of the Month and stuff on my MP3 with my guru, all right? And I also have the radio version of Rapper's Delight. Nucleus's Jam on it because it's one of the best hip hop songs of all time. Opinion, yeah, it's funny. It makes me laugh. It's a good one. And I Wish by Skilo and Top of the Stairs by Skilo. Right, I do have some Skilo up on there, and but I don't have a lot of hip hop. There's not a lot of hip hop I'm really down with. It's just I have there's. I gotta put Pac on. Yeah, I gotta go get some Pac. But yeah, I have Keith Elam a lot. Okay. I have the entire first Jazzmatazz album, Lifesaver, and about 6 songs off of Mass Appeal. Yeah. Anybody else like Lovesick? Okay. Now I started ripping my head off like a grizzly and start tearing my head off. You gotta, if you don't love that, there is opinion, okay? And a lot of people's opinion. My dad would probably not like it, okay? He's just talking to, with kind of jazzy music, yeah. Ex-girl to the next girl, yeah. It's a very, he's trying to be very mature about the situation that he's in, romantically and intimately with women, in a business that's very difficult, in a community that has a lot of difficulties because of business. I see you at the bus stop. Should I stop? I think not. Right? You know that I'm driving. Right? You guys don't. Okay. If you're going to listen to hip hop, okay. Make sure it's from people that are trying to be mature to do so, So grab you some Jazzmatazz and grab you some Mass Appeal. Okay. What's going on with the Mass Appeal? Yeah, still the meanest and the cleanest, right? It's just because of cancer, and my name is Larry, right? And Keith is a Cancer. Yeah, I think is he born on not the same day, but Suzuki died July 12th, 1966, right? Keith was born like in 61. I think he was an old man, right? He's an old man, right? Be funny. He, like my mother, was killed by stress and chemical poisoning in the cancer industry, or the heart. It was him. It was a heart failure, heart disease. Okay. It attacks different people in different ways, but he was killed by business and industry and the stress of it and the disgustingness of it, even at a younger age than my mother. My mother was 54. Keith was in his 40s. Yeah. It's a crime anytime people are shot down, okay, before, before the natural progression of our aging process. When people are murdered by toxins and stress and competition and abuse, and you guys make a TV show and sit there and say, how sad it is that they died. It's like, what about Marianne? What about what they're trying to do to her son? It's trying to save us all from advertising and drugs and more drugs. Okay, drugs are a little boy, a Dutch boy, sticking his finger in the hole in the dike. Okay, that's what Lilly is, a drug company. Okay? Forgive debt and trespass, love one eternal faithful peace. How many of your fucking drugs? Gonna get your drugs in my face. Fuck you! I don't want it no more, Adam. You lonely people keep on knocking at my door. And anybody else really like that song? I used to see it as self-righteous hypocrites with religion. Now I see it as industrialized mass murderers with invention of laws they call language on pieces of paper, with drug companies and espionage companies getting us to accept genocide as reality because they've been cloning since the turn of the millennium and they're robots better than you. You know? But you left me far behind. Cover me! My authority. If you don't like Candlebox, you don't have to, but they're one of my favorite rock bands during my college years. And they were real cool to me on Facebook. just about as cool as Pieces of a Dream with James and the other guys. And I'll get their names down. You have to meet me at the barbecue. And Smart Aleck, from Britain. No one cares what concerns us. The politician shirks. This is why we're anti-social. It's a good song. I don't have that. I should probably put Smart Aleck on my MP3. I should put anti-social on my. I think I shall. I shall put anti-social. I've got Nick Can't Tell Me Nut and Run Up On Me though, and back in the day when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore. Sometimes I wish I was a kid again. I don't got with my 1 2 1 2. Turn my vocals up. Yeah, I'm an MC. That's one of my favorites, but it ain't on there no more. Oh, I love I'm an MC. That's a good one. 1 2. Yeah, that's a good one. Anybody else like I'm an MC by Mott? It's a money thing. Y'all think you understand, but you don't. Just forgive debt and trespass, love, one eternal, faithful, peace, public domain. There you go. Back in the day when we was dumb, we're not dumb anymore. Don't ever wish you was dumb again. All right. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, yeah, that was an interesting documentary. Well, the way I see it, it was back in the day, it was like a time and it was a prayer to people to say, please stop hating on us because we're trying to survive the abuse just like you is, right? And it was neat to see the whole little suburb, little white school just really get enamored with and be so affectionate and enamored with these 5 or 6 little young black men from Akron, so they could try to get their families out of poverty, and it help everybody else feel like something magical was happening. It's like, yeah, it was magical. It's money. It's magic. Do you believe in? You can do magic. You can have anything that you desire. You know damn well when you cast your spell, you'll get your way. When you hypnotize, like Biggie Smalls, yeah, Biggie. Can't you see? Sometimes remember, Little Mama. What was her name again? She was so cute. Sometimes you can see it again because sometimes your words just hypnotize me. He just make Chris and Jeremy laugh. Sing it again. Biggie, can't you see? Sometimes your words just hypnotize me. Kids are so cute. Who's loving you? My first mistake was I wanted too much time. She knows every word. She knows all Dax steps too. Rob was so proud. Robin Williams with a Y, not an I. There you go. Okay. Was Rob from Tennessee? I can't remember where Rob was from. He was real soft-spoken. Judy was one of my best friends. She was from Arkansas. Arkansas. Wilmer! Yeah, she's a good person. Wonder what she's doing now. Same with Robin. I hope Rob's okay, too. It's hard to be okay. We're not living the Lord's Prayer, Earl. Shut up, Judy. I love you. I love you, too. Okay? Wherever you are out there, somewhere out there, someone's saying a prayer. Yeah, they keep me separated from the people that love me. The people that don't love me, they're in business with all the people that don't love me. There's a lot of people that think they love me and pray to a magic man in their head. He's a magic man. He's got the magic hands, mama, to save me from my ego. Little do they know, I'm protecting them from theirs. Well, Rockefeller knows what he's doing, man. Um, he hates people that are egotistical and self-righteous. Thing is he didn't realize the reason why he hates them is because they remind him of him. Me, I love people. When they're egotistical and self-righteous, I hate that. But someone's got to love David Rockefeller, so all the self-righteous, egotistical hypocrisy stops. Heathen, hypocrite, heathen, hypocrite. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore. Sometimes I wish I was a kid again. Or being a kid and doing crazy things. Yeah, I always think about telling Dad about that too with the Kuiken dolls at the ranch there. They were such sweethearts, you know. I said, I don't think it was the ranch people that were that bad. I think it was the oil people and the legal people and the lawyers and shit and all their kids. The Dick Cheney type folk. Most of the ranchers I met up there, the Fentons, the Kuiken dolls, man, some of the nicest people you ever met. They weren't the popular kids. I didn't realize, damn, your parents they were doing pretty good financially, but they were farm ranchers. They weren't oil people. My mom said that man makes $10,000, and one man makes $50,000 a month. Or all, God, that's more than Dad makes in a whole year. You know, she says that's nothing. That other guy over there makes $10,000 a day. Yeah, an oil baron in Wyoming. Yeah, $10,000 a day. Like, wow, that was 1981 or the 82. When was I? What was it? I think it was 81. Was that when I was 15 at D. Morgan Junior High? Getting beat up by all the good kids. Mexican, you know. Like the kids on Dallas Carter talking shit to the kids at Permian. Mexican, right? Yeah, I was like, oh shit, man. They be like that. When you get into tribalism over money, the money got people acting funny, yo. All right, okay. Love you all. Peace out, man.